Welcome to the CCAS series of events for the academic year 2021. My name is Nuruddin Jabnoon and I teach at the CCAS. I will moderate today's online event Andi Hulm, Youth Entrepreneurship in Algeria. And I am thrilled to have with us Andrew Farrand and Ouarda Benlakhlef as speakers. Let me start by introducing our speakers. Andrew Farrand lived in Algeria from 2013 to 2020 and served as host for Andi Hulm, literally translates into I Have a Dream. The show is Algeria's first entrepreneurship reality television program produced by the US Embassy in Algiers and featured on Algeria's Nahar TV. Andi Hulm tracks the progress of 60 Algerian entrepreneurs as they compete in a series of challenges raised by representatives of leading US companies operating in Algeria. Andrew hosted the show in modern standard Arabic. Andrew graduated in 2007 from Georgetown School of Foreign Service with an Arab Studies certificate. While at Georgetown, he studied abroad in Syria and Jordan and supported Professor Rochelle Davis and other CCAS staff and as a research assistant. I met Andrew for the first time in 2006 as he enrolled my class on North Africa politics that I think to some extent prepared Andrew to his Algerian journey. During our last week online meeting, Andrew reminded me that I screened the film Battle of Algiers, written and directed by the great Italian filmmaker Giulio Pontecorvo, a film that was banned in France upon its release in 1967. Ironically, few months after the invasion and occupation of Iraq, the film was screened by the Pentagon in August 2003. During his year in Algeria, Andrew oversaw implementation of programs for two US-based nonprofit organizations, the National Democratic Institute and World Learning, and consulted for Oxford Business Group and the Westminster Foundation for Democracy. Andrew is proficient in French, Modern Standard Arabic, and Algerian dialect or Arabic. Andrew is the translator of Inside the Battle of Algiers by Algeria's national liberation heroine, Zohra Drif Bitat. In 2018, Andrew accompanied Madame Drif Bitat in her 18-day US speaking tour that led them to Georgetown University in March 2018, New York University, Columbia, Harvard, Tufts, and the Woodrow Wilson International Center for Scholars. In March 2018, as I attended the event at Georgetown, I was really impressed with the way Andrew conveyed to the audience in a very professional and honest fashion Madame Drif's thoughts expressed in French on the roots of the political and military campaign launched by the FLN, the National Liberation Front, in 1954, and the role of Algerian women in the struggle against the French colonial power. Last but not least, Andrew has contributed to several guidebooks and published numerous articles on Algeria, and his forthcoming book, The Algerian Dream, will be released in December 2020, that I am looking forward to reading it. He blogs at ibnbattuta.com. Also, I am honored to have with us Ouarda Benlakhlef, one of the active participants in Andrew's show. Ouarda will speak to us about both her experience and project as an entrepreneur. Ouarda is joining us from Constantine, the commercial center and capital of Eastern Algeria. Constantine, as spelled in Arabic, is also referred to us as the city of bridges due to the unique architecture of its bridges connecting different neighbors of the city to each other. So without further ado, I will turn over to Andrew, who will talk about his unique experience in Algeria as a host of Andi Hulm and shed lights on some of the outcomes of this TV show. For your notification, when it comes to your question, you can chat with me, send them to me, or send them directly to the speakers. Andrew, I would say the podium is yours, but there is no podium.
Thank you, Noordine. It's good to be back with you. Yeah, it's unfortunate we can't do this event at CCAS, but we're making the most of things. And thank you for this invitation, and thank you for that very nice introduction. I am excited to be here and always excited to talk about Algeria. It's a place that I have gotten to know well over the last years and really love quite a lot, and I'm always happy to share a little bit of what I've learned there with audiences outside Algeria, since people don't get to hear about it very much. So one of the things that I think is it's important to do at the beginning is just to set the scene a little bit and talk just briefly about the context in which this television show took place. Many of you who know anything about Algeria at all probably know it's quite a wealthy country, wealthy with a lot of oil and gas money that have financed a tremendous amount of social spending to assist the population over the decades. But it's spending that has not solved all of Algeria's problems. And there are a number of challenges today on the social and economic fronts that make life difficult for certain parts of the population more than others. And I think that young Algerians, a very large portion of the population, about 2/3 of Algerians are under 35. And this large block of the population has a lot of challenges getting into the professional world. And a lot of my work in Algeria over the last 7 years was focused on helping young people to make this transition into adulthood and to reach careers, civil society, other activities that they would like to do in their free time, and to lead fulfilling lives. And so in my work at NDI and at World Learning, I spent a lot of time implementing mostly US government funded programs focused in different ways on tackling some of these challenges. The unemployment situation in Algeria is one of the biggest challenges that young people face. Unemployment officially is around 11 or 12% most of the time across the country. But for young people, it's closer to 27, 28, sometimes 29% in the official statistics. So it's a major challenge for young people to find jobs. Given the structure of the economy, very state-led system with a lot of private enterprises when you look at the number of them, but not a lot of activity when you look at the scale of those enterprises. So many micro enterprises, but very few medium and large companies in the private sector that are hiring people. So a very challenging environment for young people. Also one that is made more difficult by a lot of bureaucracy and red tape. So young Algerian entrepreneurs face a great deal of challenges. And several years ago, some folks at the US Embassy in Algiers had the idea to try to shed light on some of these problems by creating a television show that would give some space to young people to share their ideas with their compatriots and compete in some fun challenges, win some prize money, and generally just bring attention and discussion to the issue of youth entrepreneurship in Algeria. So that was the genesis of Andi Hulm, this show. Soon after they started scheming up these ideas and figuring out, what the show might look like, they contacted a production company, started to put together the team, and were looking for a host. And they were looking for somebody who kind of bridged Algeria and America. And at that time, I was living in Algeria already for 5 or 6 years, had learned the language and had done some previous videos and work on social media. So I was a little bit of a known quantity and one of the few Americans in Algeria in general, and one of the few who could speak in decent Arabic with people. So I was asked to join the program, and I did so with pleasure and had a really exciting experience filming back in 2019 and then watching the show episode by episode roll out in the spring. So the show aired from February through April. And I, in my time in Algeria, have definitely come to appreciate the incredible talent and ambition and hustle that young Algerians show, and have just been continually impressed by the fact that despite all these challenges, young Algerians have an incredible amount of energy and determination to make something of their own lives, their communities, their families' lives, and many of them have a really strong sense of national pride and civic duty, and many of them are working hard, I think, for their country, and that's a conscious element of their motivation. So getting to work closely with young Algerians has always been the highlight of my job in all of the positions I've held, but certainly in this show, spending an entire month of very long days, as Ouarda can attest, on the set of the TV show was exciting, a little tiring at times, but we really got to know each other well, and it was a wonderful experience. And I think with that little introduction, I would like to just move on to showing you a couple of clips that will give you a clearer sense of what the show actually looked like. And if Maddie can help me, we're going to start with the trailer for the show, just about a minute long, but this one has English subtitles, so those of you who are not Algerian Arabic speakers should be able to follow this one.
عندي حلم، أول برنامج شبابي مسابقاتي لريادة الأعمال في الجزائر، يجمع 60 شاب والوحيد اللي يتخطى كل هذه الصعوبات ويقدر يقنع لجنة التحكيم هو اللي يفوز بلقب الموسم. التحدي، الخوف، العزيمة. رابح واحد برك هو اللي راح يحقق الحلم ويربح 100 مليون.
Tu as recommencé à faire quelque chose et tu sois recalé. C'est pas simple. This is the reason why I'm crying. It's not easy.
Then we have a second clip, which is from the fourth of the 10 episodes. And this one just gives you another bit of introduction to get a visual sense of some of the activities that the show included. And then it includes a couple clips, which I'll explain, of some events in that episode.
عندي حلم، أول برنامج شبابي مسابقاتي لريادة الأعمال في الجزائر. يجمع 60 شاب من مختلف الولايات باش يجربوا عدة تحديات ومغامرات. والوحيد اللي يتخطى كل هذه الصعوبات ويقدر يقنع لجنة التحكيم هو اللي يفوز بلقب الموسم.
لازم تغتنموا الفرصة وتمدوا كامل واش عندكم.
نقدر نحقق حلمي بإذن الله.
صح، انتوما ما راكمش هنا باش ديروا شوبينغ، ها؟ اتونسيون، راكم هنا باش تخدموا. ريدي؟ يس.
التحدي، الخوف، الحماس، التردد، العزيمة.
This is a really good opportunity I'm willing to gain.
Being in such a national program that will be broadcasted on national TV will give me maximum exposure.
منافسة كبيرة بين المشتركين. بصح رابح واحد برك هو اللي راح يحقق الحلم ويربح 100 مليون.
J'ai appris de mes défaites.
À la belle Ibli, tu vas sortir de cette magnifique expérience. Elle a sur toute la ligne.
اليوم راح تعيشوا تحديات جديدة في PMG.
Ready? Let's go.
وكما تعرفوا قبل شاك تشالنج تروحوا ديروا فورماسيون نفهموكم فيها وشنو هي لا كاس ابريسيون.
باغ اكزومبل هكذا كاين ان كوب دابار هدايا نتشيكيو هنا كندوزو كاع لو نومبر دارتيكل.
La quatrième et dernière personne et qui est Andrew عاونا
عبد الجلال مبروك خويا.
لكم ما كانش عندي لا شونس باش نقرا مي راني مع لي برومي. ونقول كامل الشباب واذا راهو يشوفوا فيا وكامل يديروا القلب ويسيو ماغريت ما قراش ولا بصح عنده لي شونس ما عندوش لي شونس في راسو بصح يقدر يدير عفسات جدد يقدر يلونسي هاد البلاد يسيي فريمون يلونسيها باسكو فريمون بحنايا اللي نسيو نديروا حاجه شابه فوالا.
So that's a little bit of a look at Andi Hulm. I think you got a visual sense of some of the activities that took place in the show. And then the speech at the very end was by a contestant named Abdul Jalal, who just was talking in that clip about how he actually had just completed that challenge and won as one of the 4 winners doing the cash register at a store. And he says in the clip that he actually didn't get a chance to finish his schooling. So he's actually not really able to read and write very proficiently. And so he was particularly surprised and proud of himself that he was able to win at the challenge, and talks about how he is just motivated to achieve and talks a little bit about his ambition. It was one of the more emotional moments in the show, and I think one that for those of you who are able to understand the language, you can tell, he's really quite passionate about his project, his participation in this show, and his plans for the future. So it was a really nice moment that I thought encapsulated some of what the show was all about. So that's my little discussion of that, and I think it's time for me to turn it over to Ouarda for her impressions.
Ouarda.
Hello, I got emotional looking at Abdul Jalal and what he said. That just brings a lot of memories. Abdul Jalal is a great person. Like, I have tears in my eyes because he's such a sweet person. So hello everybody, my name is Ouarda Benlakhlef. You can also call me Rosa. I am from Constantine, Algeria, and I'm a thesis away from a master's in English language didactics. My journey to Andi Hulm has like a pre-story, and the pre-story is the fact that I was an alumna of the MAPI Student Leader Program. I went to Portland State University, where I got trained in leadership and project management, and that's where the idea for my project was born. When I was there, I saw that even the best youth from the Middle East had a problem with public speaking. And I was like, we need to find a solution for this, because if these people who are around me, who are like brilliant individuals in their communities all over the Middle East and North Africa, still struggle with public speaking, I wonder what is the case with the youth in my country, which I've already seen. So I was like, let's create a program that truly promotes public speaking and that really goes on with that. So I came back to Algeria, and just like a few weeks later, I created I Speak. We did the media launching. We started doing micro workshops at the American Corner, Constantine. We trained around 500 people. We had 2 major events, which were pretty successful. But yeah, money is always a problem when you are a young person looking to create a social enterprise when you don't have enough money to eat yourself. But yeah, I tried to do my best. Later that year, I was very lucky that my program, I Speak, won the MEPI Alumni Venture Fund, which was $8,000. That's a lot of money in Algerian if you don't know. So yeah, I took that money and I created the North Algeria tour, where we toured the 4 major cities in the north of Algeria, and we trained 400 people. And that was a great experience. So after coming back from my North Algeria tour, a friend of mine who works at the embassy told me about this idea being in the works. And they're like, it's perfect for your project and you have to apply. So I was like, yeah, why not? I waited until it was out, made my video, and I went in. At the beginning, it was surreal to have 60 people in one room. That was just out of this world, you know, and they're all camera ready. And, you know, the whole camera experience is very new for me. Like, I've been like 3 cameras, not 6 cameras with a crew and lighting and makeup. And that was nuts. So yeah, I joined. The first 3 days were rough because we were getting eliminated pretty quickly. Like you're losing like 6 people at a time. And you're like, oh my God, this is so, And there was a challenge, I remember at the beginning, one of the first challenge is to hold a plate with a glass of water for as long as you could without dropping a drop of water or the plate. And I am very shaky. I don't know, I get it from my father's side of the family, very shaky person. So I was like, this is it. I'm going out on the first challenge. That's it. And then God gave me the strength and I didn't get out on the first challenge. And from that on, I made, like, for me, that was the hardest challenge because that really, like, literally challenges one of my physical aspects. So I was like, if I made it through this, I'll make it through anything. And I said that in my confessions, I remember. Yeah. Then it went on, and I was a semi-finalist, and I got out on the episode before the last. I didn't make it to the finals, sadly. So money-wise, I was the biggest loser. So I was like at the end and get nothing. But experience-wise, I was the biggest winner because I got to experience the whole program, literally. Like, I haven't missed a blimp of the program. So experience-wise, the best aspect of this program is how many amazing, brilliant, motivated, smart, young Algerians I've met. It's absolutely mind-blowing, and how diverse they are. So some projects were working on environment, some were healthy eating, some were education. Like, I've seen people with many dreams. So that was pretty brilliant. Another experience is the filming, the crew, like Andrew, Arabic, like teaching Andrew some Algerian words he still hasn't learned. Us singing songs between takes. So yeah, as an experience, it was amazing. I really loved the aspect of us all being in a bubble for a month, literally. Like, we haven't left the hotel except for going to shoots for a month. That was a very intense experience. It was hard, of course, the shoots, the time. Sometimes we finish a shoot at like 1 a.m. sometimes, and we wake up 8 a.m. the next day and we have to be there. And that was really hard. And getting that, you know, the pressure of filming, and you have to get the set and you have to do this, and you are always limited by time and daylight. And it was truly a learning experience for me because I never thought I would go through a reality show, but I did. One other thing that I want to speak about is the challenges. So the challenges were pretty game-based because it's a reality TV show. So it wasn't what I expected. I expected more of a training, like real-life training with individuals who give me knowledge, because that's how I was trained before, like getting knowledge from people. But it was more of like a field experience where I got to actually like put my hands in dirt and run through forests and sell clothes to people at a clothes store and make pizza with my teammates. But yeah, all in all, when I was in it, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, I can't wait for this to end. I'm too tired. This is too bad. I can't. But when you finish and you take a step back and you recall everything that you went through, and this happened to me with iSpeak and with all the programs I work with, you actually can see that it wasn't that hard, it wasn't that impossible, it wasn't that bad, and I can do it for a second time anytime you ask. So Andrew, I'm up for it if you want to. Thank you.
Careful what you wish for, Ouarda. Yeah, that's a great testimonial. Ouarda was one of our wonderful participants, and we were super happy that she got so far because she got to stick around with us for almost till the very end. But we had some amazing young people on this show, and they were asked to all come with different projects, which they had come up with on their own or with friends. They came to Algiers, some of them for the full month of filming, and presented at different points in the competition versions of their project pitch to members of the jury who were entrepreneurs themselves. And so there was an aspect of these kinds of challenges that were a little like sort of games that you saw with points and essentially ways for us to continue pushing people to test their limits and test their skills. And then there was also a series of pitches all along the way where they would have to continue to hone the way that they presented their projects to potential investors and others. So we got a pretty good mix of skills. I think all of us, having lived through the production of the show and having watched it, we all can think of little things now that we would have tweaked if we could go back and do it again. But I think overall it did a good job in representing a pretty wide array of the capacities that a successful entrepreneur needs to have. So it was a really, great first experience, I think, for a show of this sort. And I think that many of the people involved in the production came away quite happy. I can't speak for all of them, but that was my general sense. And so I think the show had some good strong points, and it was unfortunate that the timing was a tricky question when it came to showing this on TV. And as many of you know, Algeria's been going through a lot of very intense events in the last year, and so finding a time to show it was tricky. We thought we had picked the perfect time, and then COVID-19 happened, and that sort of I think was a bit of a distraction and maybe cut some of the buzz that the show might have had otherwise. But I do know that the US Embassy and World Learning and some of the other project partners, the Chamber of Commerce and others, are working to continue building on this show and to do some follow-up activities with some of the participants. So I think there's going to continue to be events around this project in the future to try to boost the participants who are on the show and other young entrepreneurs.
So thank you, all of you, for joining us today. And please join me to thank Rosa and Andrew for their great presentation. And again, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, Andrew and Rosa, to come and to present and to talk about your experience. And I would like to thank all those who attended this event, the audience. Thank you very much. And I hope to hear something more positive about this program in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nourdine.
Thanks,
everyone.
Thank you.